What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here, welcome back to the channel. Now before we get started with this week's episode of WWE's Biggest Issue, excuse me, the road to 200 subs has now come to a close and we are now 232 subs away from hitting 500 subs. And who knows, maybe we might hit 500 subs by the end of the year. Only time will tell, but as I have said in previous videos, if this channel does get to 500 subs, I will open up this Korean LOB booster box in its entirety on the channel that I got from my partners over at Collector Store. So be sure to check them out. Link and address will be in the description below. By checking them out, not only does it support them, it also supports the channel, and I would greatly appreciate it. On the hopes to potentially pull a Blue Eyes White Dragon, a Dark Magician, a Red Eyes Black Dragon, a piece of Exodia, Monster Boar, Pot of Greed. The possibilities are out there. However, if this channel gets to 1,000 subs, I will open up this first edition Toon Chaos box in its entirety on the channel that I also got from my partners over at Collector Store, on the hopes to potentially pull a collector's rare out of this set. But with that being said, if you guys want to see these boxes get opened, maybe you guys want more episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue, maybe you guys want more episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue, deck profiles, card discussions, WWE topic videos, or maybe, just maybe, you guys want some premium live event predictions and results. Well, if you guys want all of that and more, my channel is the place to be. So if you guys are new to the channel, and I know that a lot of you guys are, because 85% of you guys are watching the content, but you guys are not even subscribed. And to top it all off, we got to get more women to watch the content as well. So if you guys are watching the content, you like the content, and you want more of the content, but you guys have not subscribed as of yet, then make sure you guys do indeed subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, smash that thumbs up button on this video, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And I want you guys to post in the comments below answering the question of the day, which is basically this week's episode. But the question of the day is this: who would you guys like to see face Goldberg in his last match ever in 2025? Let me know down in the comments below. And for this week's episode, that is exactly what we're going to be talking about today. We found out over the weekend that WWE Hall of Famer Goldberg will be having his very last match ever in professional wrestling in 2025. But the question is when is it going to happen? Is it going to happen at SummerSlam? Is it going to happen at a Survivor Series? Could it happen at Money in the Bank? Could it potentially happen at WrestleMania? No one knows. No one knows when, and he never really said when exactly. But I can say that Goldberg has. I get that there are a lot of fans out there who have a lot of mixed feelings, I guess, if you will, in regards to the Hall of Famer. But even you guys can agree when I say that he's done so much for the business over the last 20 something years that he truly has become what everybody calls him, and that is an icon. And there's really no telling who will step up to the challenge. But it depends on the scenario, because right now, especially with what happened at Bad Blood a few weeks back, there's been a lot of chatter going around that apparently it's going to be Gunther facing Goldberg at some point, but we really don't know when. But to be fair, there is a long list of guys. Excuse me. Excuse me, who would be more than honored to step up to that challenge. I mean, literally, I'm looking at WWE's roster page right now, and the list is pretty much a list of who's who. You got guys like AJ Styles, Akam, Akira Tozawa, Alex Shelley, Andrade, Andre Chase, Angel, Angelo Dawkins, Apollo Crews, Ashante the Adonis, Austin Theory, Axiom, Berto. I would say Baron Corbin, even because he's on the current roster list, but if you guys saw yesterday's video, you guys already know what's up. I would say Big E, but he's also injured. Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar, Braun Breaker, Bronco Nima, Bronson Reed, Brooks Jensen, Brutus Creed, Carlito, Carmelo Hayes, Cedric Alexander, Chad Gable, Stax, Charlie Dempsey, Chris Sabin, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, let's see here, Cruz del Toro, Damian Priest, Dante Chen, Dirty Dom, Dragon Lee, Drew McIntyre, Duke Hudson, Eddie Thorpe, Adrian Enofe. I mean, the list just goes on and on. You know, to guys like Ethan Page and Finn Balor, to potentially, obviously, to potentially Grayson Waller, and even also Gunther. Maybe we'll see Ivar as well. Maybe Jacob Fatu. That'd be pretty interesting. JD McDonough, Jay Uso, John Cena. That'd be a pretty cool one. Karrion Kross, Kevin Owens, Kofi, LA Knight, Lexis King, Logan Paul, Luca Crucifino. Who else? Who else could step up? Obafemi, Omos, Otis, Randy Orton, R-Truth, Roman Reigns, Seth freaking Rollins, Sheamus, Solo. There's literally a long list of guys who would be more than happy to step up to the challenge and facing Goldberg in his last match ever. But to be fair, I mean, Goldberg, the list of guys that Goldberg has faced over the years is the list of who's who. You know, guys like who else? Who got to think of? Scott Hall, guys like Sting, Bret Hart, Disco Inferno, Hollywood Hogan, guys like The Rock and Brock Lesnar and Triple H and Ric Flair, Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler, The Undertaker, Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman. I mean, he has been in the ring with some of the very best that the professional wrestling world has to offer, and especially during his time in WCW, he was 175-0, and his first loss was to Kevin. Now, actually, no. Yes, he did lose to Kevin Nash, but in reality, he lost to Scott Hall and a Cattle Prog. Yeah, literally, Scott Hall and a Cattle Prog. That's how he lost the WCW title to Kevin Nash. Was Scott Hall and a Cattle Prog. But I mean, looking at the roster, I mean, it's just absolutely incredible that we have this much talent. I mean, guys like Wolfgang, Xavier Woods, Wes Lee, even also we've seen a lot of guys from TNA show up. Women like Jordan Grace and women like Rosemary. Guys like Wesley and not Wesley, no, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz of the Rascals. Um, you know, and even also guys like Frankie Kazarian and Joe Hendry. We've seen a lot of people from TNA show up. Maybe we might see one of them step up. And we've even also seen Hammerstone from TNA show up as well. So I mean, there's a long list of people that I could see stepping up to that challenge, but it's based on mainly based on who Goldberg wants to face the most. And I think if it came down to three, I would have to say, or actually, you know what? I'll bring it up to five. If it came to five, I would say Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar, Braun Breaker, Gunther, and if I had to pick one more, person, I would have to say, as crazy as it sounds, and I'm probably gonna get a little bit of heat for this one, but I would have to say Roman Reigns. Now the reason for Roman is because it's basically a dream match, if you will. Because when you look at what Roman had done when he was WWE champion, compared to how to what Gunther did when he was the Intercontinental champion, they both dominated WWE with an iron fist. Facing off against some of the very best, including guys like Sami Zayn, guys like Jey Uso, guys like on Roman's side, guys like AJ Styles and LA Knight and John Cena. And when you look at Gunther, on Gunther's side, obviously, guys like Shinsuke Nakamura and Ricochet, just to name a couple. That right there has to make it to the dream match. And for Roman to go up against a guy like Goldberg, I know I said Gunther, but when you look at what Roman did compared to what Goldberg did, I mean, it's possible. I know. I get it. I know. I said Gunther. That's my bad. We were talking about Goldberg, but I did bring up Gunther because of bad blood. So forgive me on that, guys. But yeah, and also too, Goldberg has a receipt, has a debt to collect when it comes to Roman Reigns. So maybe, who knows? As far now, who knows? But Gunther versus Goldberg would be really, really interesting, just because of the fact that you have two guys who are both current and former World Heavyweight Champions, and the idea of Gunther facing off against Goldberg could be interesting. It could be very, very interesting, and I think that right there would have the makings of a 5-star match, in my honest opinion. So, and plus, with the fact that Gunther brought up Goldberg's son Gage, yeah, I can guarantee you that Goldberg ain't gonna take that too lightly, in my opinion. Now, as far as the other three go, Braun Breaker, Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman. Obviously, both Strowman and Lesnar have a debt to collect against Goldberg, because if you guys remember, Goldberg defeated Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series back in 2016 in like under like under 4 minutes, which just that right there, that feat right there, even still to this day haunts Brock Lesnar mentally. And let's also not forget Goldberg eliminated Brock Lesnar from the Royal Rumble just a couple months later, and the weird thing is that you fast forward from that to about 2, maybe 3 months at WrestleMania, Goldberg beats or actually loses to Brock Lesnar for the Universal title at WrestleMania in Orlando, and that was what got Brock Lesnar to have such a lengthy reign as champion. Obviously now second to obviously to Roman, but the idea, sounds pretty cool on paper, and it's the same thing with Braun Strowman. Goldberg actually has a debt to collect when it comes to Braun Strowman. People forget that at WrestleMania 36, at WrestleMania 36, when it was in the PC because of COVID, Braun Strowman defeated Goldberg with 4 power slams to become Universal Champion. So I think that right there sits at the mind of Goldberg. But then you got Braun Breaker. I mean, come on. Come on. It would literally be a battle of the spear. Whose spear is better, Braun Breaker or Goldberg's? And honestly, that right there would be a hell of a matchup right there. But if I had to narrow it down to 2, hands down, it would be Braun Breaker and Gunther. The reason for it is because Goldberg doesn't really owe Brock Lesnar anything at this point, because right now to my knowledge, the mutual respect is there. It's the same thing with Goldberg and Strowman. It was all about the Universal title at that point. And as far as Roman goes, I mean, now, after his match with Cody at WrestleMania this past April, Roman's basically, Roman's been humbled. Roman got humbled. Okay, I am being real. Roman Reigns' ass got humbled by Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, and the question becomes, does Roman Reigns owe Goldberg another match? No. And the reason for it, it's simple. Roman Reigns defeated Goldberg clean. He didn't need Jey Uso. He didn't need Jimmy Uso. He didn't need Solo. He needed no one. He needed nobody in the bloodline to retain his title at that point. And if you really think about it, the dream match basically, it literally lived up to the hype. Literally, it did. So I really don't see the point of Roman Reigns giving Goldberg another match when there are no titles on the line, and it's just a retirement match, So I really don't see the point. Not that I've got anything against retirement matches, but I just think that it would just end up becoming a squash match, in my opinion. So it basically comes down to either the World Heavyweight Champion or the Intercontinental Champion. And as crazy as it sounds, and again, I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna get a lot of heat for this, but I think it has to be Braun Breaker, and the reason for it is simple. It's simple. We found out whose spear was better between Roman and Goldberg. We found out Roman had the better spear, even though Goldberg lost by passing out to Roman's guillotine. This case, there's no submissions. It's a pure battle to see whose spear is better. Is it Braun Breaker's or is it Goldberg's? And I think the only way that Goldberg could really retire is if he challenged Braun Breaker for said Intercontinental title, and he actually retires as champion. He beats Breaker and retires as champion. I think that right there would be quite the poetic story for Goldberg. How ironic, right? That one of his very first championships ever in professional wrestling goes back to his days in WCW, where he becomes U.S. champion, and his last match ever would be in WWE, going after the Intercontinental title. I think that right there would be quite the poetic way to end Goldberg's career altogether. But I don't know. I think it just depends on how they want to proceed with Goldberg's retirement. Because again, Goldberg said that he was gonna retire. Excuse me, that he was gonna have his last match in WWE in professional wrestling in 2025. So it comes down to how they want to tell the story. Do they want to go to a direction where it's a battle of the spears in the form of Breaker versus Goldberg, or do they want to go down the route of what happened at Bad Blood between Goldberg and Gunther? Honestly, it just depends. I mean, obviously both, yes, are dream matches, but if you think about it, if you really think about it, Gunther and Breaker had stellar runs as champions. Gunther obviously being the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time, 666 days. Let's see, what was it? 870 days as the NXT UK champion, and then you look at Braun Breaker, over a year, literally an entire calendar year as NXT champion, and also winning the Dusty Cup with Baron Corbin, becoming tag team champions, becoming now becoming a 2-time Intercontinental champion. I think it just depends. I think they'll probably go for the direction of what happened at Bad Blood, but I think for the purposes of potential dream matches, if you will, I think it has to be Braun Breaker. But I want your guys' opinion. Let me know down in the comments below who you believe should step up to the challenge as Goldberg's last opponent in professional wrestling. Let me know down in the comments below, and that'll do it for this week's episode of WWE's Biggest Issue. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue in the future, then make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all my social media. All my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.